Perek Chav Zayin, Mishnah Beis. Did the long Mishnah Aleph, and a lot of what we said then, in Mishnah Aleph, actually, we can now see clearly in Mishnah Beis. Says the Mishnah, Beged metame mishum shloisha al shloisha lemedris, or mishum sholosh al sholosh litmei meis. We've said this before, let's explain it again. A piece of cloth, a beged, which is not a kli kibble, because if it's a kli kibble, it's tummy under it's in its own right. Doesn't need a shear then. But a piece of cloth, which is just a piece of cloth, not a kli, has got two different shiurim for tumah. Says the Mishnah, if it's shloisha al shloisha, so 3 tfachim by 3 tfachim, then it's considered to be royal and mishkev and moishev, and is able to be mekabel tumas medris. That means if a zav or a zava nidu let us put their weight on it, this piece of cloth becomes an av hatuma. It's got a din medris. This then applies even if this piece of cloth isn't finished, even though it's just a torn piece of cloth from somewhere, just any piece of cloth. 3 tvachim by 3 tvachim is mekabel tumas medris. However, if it's smaller than 3 tvachim by 3 tvachim, and it's got the shear of 3 etzbois by 3 etzbois, which is really quite small, then it's not royal mishkev v'moishav and cannot become an avatuma through medris. However, it's still called a kli, and it can be mekabel tumah, called it tmei meis, which is just the euphemism Chazal use, which means any tumah, which is metame to make it a rishon, for instance, a mace, or in the case of mace, it would actually be an avatuma, but it doesn't make a difference. If a sheretz were to touch it, it would become a rishon. In such a case, any small piece of cloth can become a rishon tumah if it's got 3 etzbois by 3 etzbois. 2 different shurim for pieces of cloth. However, says the Mishnah, when it comes to the other materials, there's only one shear. Hasok arba al arba, with a piece of sock, which isn't a kli kibble, there's only one shear, 4 tfachim by 4 tfachim. Ha'oir, a piece of leather, which isn't a kli kibble, you've got one shear, chamisha al chamisha, 5 tfachim by 5 tfachim. Muppets, we've had muppets before at the end of Perek Chav, a machtzeles, a reed mat, a woven mat. Here the shear is shisha al shisha and 6 tvachim by 6 tvachim and amma by an amma. We'll explain. These shurim of 4 by 4 for sock, 5 by 5 for oil, or 6 by 6 for muppets are shovin lemedris or letamimes. What the Mishnah is saying here is, let's go to oil. That's the one we're most familiar. A piece of oil, which is not a kli kibble, has got a shear of 5 by 5 tfachim, which means if you have a piece of leather, 5 tfachim by 5 tfachim, it's considered to be roy lemedris. And whenever we have a rule, something which is roy lemedris is also roy letame mace. It's just like if a zava were to sit on it, it would become an avatuma. If a mace were to touch it, it would become an avatuma. If an av hatuma of a mace were to touch it, it would become a rishon. If a sheretz were to touch it, it would become a rishon. There's only one shear for a piece of leather. It's always 5 tfachim by 5 tfachim. The same shear for medris and the same shear for tomei mace. And with sock, it's 4 tfachim by 4 tfachim. With muppets we've had before, muppets is a special animal. Muppets, actually, according to some Rishonim, it's not even a kli at all. It's woven, made out of reeds. But because it's just a very rudimentary item, it hasn't got a shem kli. However, the Torah is mechadish, special rule, that a muppet is mekabel tumah, and the Mishnah is telling us here that it must have a shear of an amma by an amma. But here there's no difference between medris and tomei mace, as opposed to fabric, beged, there's a difference between shloisha al shloisha and sholosh al sholosh. Remeya Omer, this is the only din of sock in the whole Masechta, what Remeya is going to say now. But that we don't actually know on what Remeya builds his shitta. What Remeya says is, Hasok shiyorov arba'a utchiloso mishi gomer. When you said that a piece of sackcloth, 4 tfachim by 4 tfachim, is able to be mekabel tumas medris and tumas mace, that's only if it was originally a completed sock, it then got torn, and you're left with the shiraim, a broken piece from an original complete sock, then you have a shear of 4 by 4 tvachim. But l'chatchila, if you're just making a piece of sock, it will not be makabel tumah mishimi unless mishigoma, unless it's completely manufactured and finished. Well, what Rameh comes, why Rameh says what he says, what he bases on, we do not know, but that's what he says.